Welcome back, everybody. Today is Monday, November 9th. We have 2 weeks till our much-deserved Thanksgiving break. And of course, this Wednesday is Veterans Day. There'll be no classes. Remember to thank a veteran for their services and their dedication to our country this week. We're going to continue by reviewing big ideas from last week. A reminder that we are in Chapter 3 of U.S. History, also known as the Constitution, where we identify and analyze the ideas behind important historical documents and how they form our government. Now, we will review the big ideas behind legislative branch compromises from last week. Why is this important? Well, fixing the Articles of Confederation was difficult because states were afraid of giving up their power. So finally, at the end of the day, you will choose a legislative branch compromise and write a quote from a specific point of view. So just to remember, we have been talking about the Constitutional Convention taking place in Philadelphia in 1787. This is right after Shays' Rebellion took place. Delegates from each state came to discuss rewriting the plan for government that would become known as the Constitution, which is still what we use today. Now, the big focus, first of all, was fixing the legislative branch. Remember, this was the only branch of government during the Articles of Confederation, and writing laws was tough because there were only 13 representatives, meaning that wasn't enough ideas, not enough opinions to get good laws written into the nation's plan. So we know that they wanted to add more people, but from where? Where were these people going to come from? So the first compromise we discussed was between big states versus little states, and this was called the Great Compromise. And the question was, should states with a larger population get more representation in the legislative branch? So because there's more people in Virginia, should they get more law writers in Congress? And of course, they agreed. Compromise means to agree. All right. Big states said more people, more power. And the smaller states wanted equal representation. And in the Great Compromise, everybody wins. Okay. The legislative branch is split into two sections, or sometimes they say bicameral. Okay. On one side, called the Senate, the little states got what they wanted, and every state has an equal amount of law writers. And on the other side of the legislative branch, we call this the House of Representatives, and they're based on population. So states with larger population got more law writers in the legislative branch. And this is how our Congress looks today. Okay. This was a way to keep the nation united during a very difficult time while they were trying to figure out how to form the plan. Okay. So after that lesson, the big question was, well, when counting population for the legislative branch representatives, should slaves be counted too? I mean, remember, looking back up here, these are based on population. And if you counted your slaves, then you would have had more law writers given to your state. The northern states, the North, remember the 13 colonies here? In the North, where there were free states, they believed that slaves should not be counted as population because it would give the South more power or political influence in Congress. And of course, the southern states believe that they should count their slaves. Although they don't have any rights, they want to count them because of more people, more power. All right? Now, what they decided to do was known as the 3/5 compromise. Remember, they have to agree. It was the North versus the South. And they agreed to count only 3 out of every 5 slaves. Remember, slaves cannot vote or be in Congress. Please do not get confused. They're not giving any rights to the slaves, guys. They're just counting a portion of them towards representation. Okay? Now, today's activities are through Edpuzzle. You're going to be reviewing these two very important constitutional compromises through this program. I will show you in the Google Classroom where they are. Okay? Here we have for November 9th, the two Ed Puzzles, and once you go in, you'll have the video with, of course, questions attached. You want to make sure and get these done today before you leave class. And that's about it, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.